In early 2025, a British citizen sat quietly at a small desk by the window, scrolling through travel pages while the morning light filled the room. Travel had always been a dream, but it had never felt simple. Over the years, rules had changed, borders had closed and reopened, and paperwork had grown more confusing. Still, the desire to see the world never faded. This time, the focus was clear. Where could a British passport open doors without the stress of long visa applications? The idea did not come from luxury or escape, but from curiosity and planning. News headlines often talked about passport strength, freedom of movement, and global access. Yet most people did not truly understand what those words meant in real life. The traveler wanted to know the truth, not the hype. Which countries could be entered easily? How long could someone stay? What hidden rules were often missed? Research began slowly, with official government websites, embassy updates, and airline notices. It was not exciting work, but it was necessary. Some countries allowed entry for weeks, others for months. Some asked only for a return ticket, while others wanted proof of money or travel insurance. Visa-free did not always mean question-free, and that became clear very quickly. As days passed, notes filled a notebook. Europe was familiar territory, but even there, changes were coming. New systems, new checks, and new digital rules meant travelers had to stay alert. Outside Europe, the list grew longer and more interesting. Parts of Asia, the Americas, Africa, and island nations welcomed British citizens without advance visas, each with its own conditions. The traveler felt both excited and cautious. Freedom came with responsibility. The first journey of the year was short, but meaningful. At the airport, there was a quiet sense of testing the research. At the check-in counter, questions were asked. At passport control, there was a pause, a stamp, and then a simple nod. Entry granted. That moment, though small, carried weight. It was proof that preparation mattered. Walking through a new city, the traveler noticed how relaxed everything felt compared to past trips that involved visas. There was no worry about rejection letters, no stress about interviews or embassy appointments. Instead, there was time to observe people, streets, food, and daily life. Visa-free travel did not just save effort. It changed the emotional experience of travel. Still, reality stayed close. Every entry came with a date stamped in the passport, a clear reminder that time was limited. Overstaying was not an option. The traveler kept checking calendars and reminders, understanding that mistakes could affect future trips. Freedom did not mean carelessness. Conversations with other travelers revealed how little many people knew. Some assumed visa-free meant unlimited stay. Others relied on outdated information from social media. The traveler listened, shared what was learned, and realized how easy it was for misinformation to spread. That realization planted a new idea. This journey could help others. More trips followed. Each border crossing added another layer of understanding. In some places, entry was smooth and welcoming. In others, questions were detailed but fair. Proof of accommodation, onward travel, and purpose was often required. None of it was unreasonable, but it showed that preparation was essential. Even when visas were not, the traveler began documenting everything carefully. Not just country names, but experiences. What questions were asked? How long did the process take? What mistakes should others avoid? This was no longer just personal planning. It became a real-life record of how a British passport worked in 2025. There were moments of surprise. Some lesser-known countries offered generous stays and warm welcomes. Others that were popular on social media had stricter controls than expected. The traveler learned not to judge destinations by reputation alone. Policies changed, and assumptions could lead to problems. Between journeys, time was spent reviewing updates. Rules could change quickly, sometimes with little notice. A country that was visa-free one month could introduce new requirements the next. The traveler learned to check information repeatedly, even for places already visited. Travel in 2025 required attention. Friends and family started asking questions. Where could they go easily? What should they prepare? The traveler shared experiences honestly, without exaggeration. Not every trip was perfect, but every trip taught something useful. That honesty built trust. By the middle of the year, the notebook was full. The list of visa-free countries was no longer just names on a page. It was connected to real airports, real streets, real conversations, and real lessons. The traveler felt a quiet sense of purpose. This information mattered. Looking back, it became clear that visa-free access was not just about convenience. It was about opportunity. It allowed people to explore, learn, and connect without unnecessary barriers. But it also demanded awareness, respect for rules, and personal responsibility as the year continued. The traveler prepared to share everything learned in a clear and simple way. No confusion. No false promises. Just real experiences from real journeys. The goal was simple: help British citizens understand where they could travel in 2025, what to expect and how to travel smarter. This was only the beginning. The world was still wide, and the list was still growing. But part one of the journey had already proven something important. With the right knowledge, a British passport in 2025 could still open many doors, as long as the person holding it understood how to use it wisely.